So I am the Systems Analyst and Security Officer for the Utah Health Information Network. We are a nonprofit organization that has been around since 1993 and are currently rolling out the statewide health information exchange for the state of Utah. Today we'll be talking about engaging physicians, getting their adoption, and how Ingenix and the axolotl Elysium Interoperability Hub in particular helps facilitate the EHR adoption in the state of Utah. First, engaging physicians is one of the two major keys for the long-term sustainability of any HIE. They're the ones that are going to be using this, driving this, and they're going to be the champions in getting your entire community up and running on the health information exchange, whether that's regionally or statewide. As we all know, we have the acronym soup of dollars from the federal government to help promote EHR adoption, but that's the first stage. The second stage is actually getting them to connect with the HIE, being able to exchange the data, and more importantly, use the data in their clinical treatment for the patients. So there's a monetary benefit, there's the time benefit of being able to exchange data, get that electronically, and more important, recognizing and promoting the HIE model in the region in which the HIE is deployed and the physicians are practicing. Engaged physicians are going to, first of all, adopt and use the tools that the HIE has developed and implemented. More importantly, they're going to be your champions on getting other clinicians into the system. They're going to be the ones that are going to talk with their colleagues and tell them, why aren't you participating with your HIE? I want to get your data. I want to give you my data. I don't want to fax anymore. I don't want to have to send my records to the doctor through the patient. One of the things that we're doing here in the state of Utah is, even before we started the process of choosing a vendor, we implemented a clinician committee. The clinician committee is one of the pivotal keys to the success that we've been able to accomplish so far and are looking at doing in the state of Utah. They're the ones that made the decision ultimately on which HIE vendor that we chose. They were able to see that it was being effectively used in other communities around the country. They were able to comment back to our board of directors and the choosing committee what they wanted, what their key elements were, and then they were able to be transparent about the concerns they had and have had and are continuing to have with the rollout in our state. The key to that is making them feel that this health information exchange is actually theirs. It's not some other system, it's just not some other thing that they have to spend time and money and waste their staff time on implementing and using. It's something that they want to use inside of their practice because it's going to make their patients better. And again, it comes back to word of mouth. If your HIE is successful, it gives them the value to practice medicine and save money. They're going to tell their colleagues, they're going to tell their fellow clinicians, get going and participate. In addition, it offers transparency. We don't have to hide and create a Wizard of Oz style feeling between the HIE and the clinicians. They know exactly what we're doing as an HIE. We know exactly how they feel, and we can bounce ideas and recommendations and solutions off of each other until we find an acceptable solution that they're going to want to implement through the state. Another key aspect of engaging clinicians is creating geographically centered and oriented councils. Within the state of Utah, for those of you who may have visited our glorious state, within 3 hours of driving distance, you can encounter 5 different climates, from desert to high mountainous terrain. The practicing climate in the state of Utah is just as diverse. So what happens in Salt Lake City is going to be completely different than what happens in St. George versus Moab, Utah. By creating these chi councils, we can focus on the issues, the referral patterns, and the information that each specific demographic area wants to exchange with. In Salt Lake, it may be they want to exchange with our Beacon partners the diabetic registration information. In Moab, it's emergency room departments wanting to access clinical records through a web-based tool for all of the go-lucky, hard-hitting tourists that come down to bike and hike and water ski. Just as important is having the staff that understands the workflow inside of the clinician's office, but is also technical enough to be able to explain the solutions and provide each practice with a solution that's tailored to them. We've been lucky to have not only clinical staff such as RNs, ENTs, EMTs in our office, but also technical savvy people that can translate technology into a practitioner's setting. One of the things that we've found out is that medicine is important. It needs to be explained the way it is explained, and you can't deviate from the terminology in healthcare. But you can certainly make technology sound dumb. You can make technology understandable and believable. And that's what we do. We make it so that technology is not the limiting factor in the adoption of the HIE. We've partnered with Axolotl, which is now a product underneath the Ingenix services, and they have implemented a federated model that we adopt. It is a software as a solution service that provides a federated model to all of the data sources that provide data. One key element in this is the interoperability hub, or short iHub. The iHub allows us to take every kind of data that can come out of an EMR system, standardize it, and bring it into our exchange. Utah is a standard setting body. We make sure that everyone meets a minimum data content standard so that we can guarantee to the other participants what you're going to get for your EHR. As we know, EHR vendors are extremely efficient and very well have a lot of products that can bring data in, consume it, and show that to the clinicians that use that product. What they haven't done so far is be able to output data in a consistent and standardized method. And that's where we're to help out, is we start to engage the EHR vendors that the clinicians have chosen, and Utah has anywhere from 50 to 60% EHR adoption already today in our state. So we are an extremely connected healthcare industry. We don't need to worry about offering necessarily a web-based product that replaces their EHR. We want to augment their EHR. We want to be able to take the data out of their system, provide it to other clinicians, but just as importantly, take the data out of everyone else's system and give it back to them so that they can use the same tools that they're using today and not change the impact on their current workflow. One of the important things is engaging clinicians, making sure that they are the local champions and that you're not replacing their workflow, you're augmenting the workflow. The exchange of data is vital in this industry, and to exchange it, they have to be able to use it. That's one of the main topics that's coming out of HIMSS this year, is it's not just enough to get the data from point A to point B, but the end user has to be able to use it. Next, make the system theirs by incorporating their existing EHR architecture, the messages that they're already exchanging. You're not replacing their product, you're coming in to offer them services and products that they've never had before. Finally, using the best-in-class technology such as Axolotl has helped us be able to leverage that functionality, get the data from the 60% of the 3,000 plus physicians that we have in the state already, and let them know that for those that haven't adopted an EHR yet, we're ready for them. We will be there, they can connect to us, and they're not going to have to spend more money and more time recreating their workflow process than they have had to do so far. Thank you. Questions? As far as work, the question was, what is Nginx's policy as far as data mining, whether it be identified or de-identified data? Nginx has no access to our data. Our data is our own. Our contract is with Axolotl, and we allow authorized users within our network to access that data. We are not going to allow anyone to aggregate that data, to incorporate that data in other databases unless we know about it. We get the approval of our community to do that. Any other questions? Thank you.
And also just a reminder that we will be holding our drawing at 5 o'clock today. That's for the